Well, the services have been the resilient part of the economy thanks to all these pent-up demand for the consumer activity. However, it's clear that looking at both the Caixin and official services readings, things are losing a bit of momentum there, which actually makes it even more important for the government to come in and cushion the housing because right now the biggest concern with the economy is absolutely the housing sector.
I want to get into some of the big property moves too, very targeted measures for some young people. These are first-time buyers in the market that they get preferential treatment on their loans. They can go and renegotiate with the bank. So it seems very specific that the type of stimulus we're seeing at this point. Also some measures around Country Garden to extend out those repayments on bonds. What do you make of the impact on confidence for the property sector? Because it feels as though confidence has very much been depleted by the endless issues across the sector and, of course, what the overall economy has been doing.
The confidence side will still take a long time to build, I think, because it's not just cyclical problem. There are also structural issues. The housing oversupply in a lot of small cities. Then you have households finally realizing housing prices actually can go down, not just going up. But I think the government's recent batch of the measures for housing are looking more promising in terms of cushioning the sector, help the sector to stabilize before the year end. Of course, if housing sales can stabilize, then the overall growth has a much better chance to stabilize. So even though they continue to pursue this very incremental approach, but the cumulative impact of all these incremental approaches, I think are looking more promising in the short term, at least. But the long-term picture doesn't change that China, housing would not be an important part of engine for China's growth for long.
Lovely to see you say, look, not for the first time, I'm completely confused. If the world's geniuses and economists completely wrong then when they say we need a big bang approach from the Chinese Communist Party, from the leadership under Mr. Xi as well? Because you're saying things are looking better potentially already from here, in which case all those experts who come on this channel and talk to Karen and I who've said we need a big bang approach from the government, we need enormous fiscal stimulus. From what I'm listening to you, I'm hearing that actually we don't need that because things are improving.
I was saying it depends on what do you want China's growth to be, right? If we're talking about big recovery, sustained recovery for China to get out deflation and everything, we're not gonna get any policy like that from China to lead to that outcome in the short term. But if we're talking about to prevent a further sharp crash in the housing sector, we're talking about prevent a Lehman crisis. Yes, I think the approach they're pursuing is exactly for that, is a very short-term stabilization and then take several years to address the debt problem, right? So it depends on the expectation here. And with regards to the big stimulus, is that they are not able to do it because the big stimulus in the past is exactly why they're in all this trouble of housing the infrastructure problem today. So I think they're aware that it's not the approach to go for anymore.